about a man who's known by his first name all over the world, and he left us 49 years ago. His name was Elvis. Aaron Presley. Originally, Elvis Aaron was spelled A-R-O-N, and on his gravestone it's A-A-R-O-N. His father said it was spelled that way because of the Bible. I guess there's an Aaron in the Bible. I know I've got an Aaron in my family, but he's one A. I've been an Elvis fan since around about 1969. I would have seen him if he'd lived. I went over there in 1978 and put a rose on his grave. Presley, known by his first name all over the world. Now, on this little bit of video I've done of him, I'm going to be looking at the controversial of his death. I'm going to be looking at the Elvis Aston Butler movie. I haven't seen Epic yet, but I imagine it's going to be fantastic. And more. Elvis. As all Elvis fans know, Elvis was born in Tuvalu, Mississippi. I know I went to Tuvalu in 1978, and it was before they made what it is now. Put statues and stuff. It wasn't like that at all. It was more of a rundown shack, really. I mean, my boy's shed or studio was bigger. It was very small and very hard to believe, but they didn't live there for that long because Vernon ended up in prison and they had to leave. There's so many people who say Elvis didn't die on August the 16th, 1977. Now, I know exactly where I was at that day. And I know I got rained off work. And it also rained in Memphis for the first time in like 20 plus years at that time of the year. Now, my only thing, I don't believe in none of the Elvis sightings. I don't know if the John Burroughs jumping on an aeroplane leaving Memphis the next day, what that have, and there's a lot of things, but the one thing that get me, and I know this for a fact, Elvis's biggest love in life was his mother, same as mine. And losing your mother rips your heart out. Why, you told me, Elvis fans, why isn't Elvis buried next to his mother? Because he's not. Why isn't he buried next to his mother? And another thing is, when he died, why didn't he get the American flag? He didn't, he was in the army, and he didn't get the American flag. Anyway, I'm going to give you a twirl. I have many Elvis tops. I haven't bought any of them myself. They've been bought for me. I believe my partner may have bought me one. Possibly my stepdaughter might have bought me one. I know my daughter has bought me one. And I don't know about my son James, if he's bought me any. Anyway, I've got quite a few, as you can see. As I said, why wasn't Elvis buried next to his mother,
Minnie May, and his father the other side?
Why wasn't he buried next to his mum? I'd like, if you got the idea, let me know. I'd love to know. Because he should have been the love of his life. I think the two loves of Elvis's life was his daughter, obviously, Lisa, and he would have been heartbroken to see what happened to her. Now I've got her book, which I will put up in a minute. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to. I know it's going to upset me. And another thing I'd like to ask, Priscilla, ex-wife of Elvis, why was she trying to sue him again for more money about 3 months before he died? If you think about it, he had Red West and the other West, everybody else writing that horrible book about him. True or not, he kept them for years. Now I believe this top is possibly New York 1972, Madison Square Gardens. It looks like it, but I imagine he wore that more on them shows. The last ever show Elvis was wearing that suit. It was called that, and TCB, something else his ex-wife took credit for. Now my moans about the Elvis movie with Austin Butler, I think he done brilliant. I think he's brilliant. I think he was fantastic. I think all in all the movie was really good, apart from the end, because it made Elvis's father look pathetic, and I'm sure he wasn't, and it made Elvis look all alone. Why didn't they put Linda Thompson in there and Ginger Alden? Both who was a lot better looking than his ex-wife. Who now has had so many surgeries on her face, it's hard to know if it's her or... I don't know if I should be saying that. I haven't read it yet. My partner bought me this book, and I will read it, but what I've heard about it, from here to the great unknown, what I've heard about it is it's going to annoy me and upset me, and I'd imagine the person who hurt Lisa, he'd have killed him. He'd have absolutely killed him. But I will read it, and I will get back to you on my thoughts on this book. If you're an Elvis fan and you want to know about Elvis, go on YouTube and look up Billy Smith. He's still about, and he's still putting videos on there, and it's well worth listening to because he was there. I also sometimes listen to Donna Presley. I don't imagine she knew him as well as Billy, but she still put stuff on there protecting Elvis's name. And someone else I like listening to is Elvis the Man. He seemed to read every book very fast and know a lot about Elvis. So check them sites out. I'll put something. Can I put something somewhere? I can put something somewhere. The cameraman, my son, is shaking his head. So for me, the questions was, why wasn't Elvis buried next to his mum? That's the big question. Why was he not laid to rest next to the love of his life, his mum? Billy Billman, the grumpy old granddad, moving on to the next part of my tattoos. Okay.
I'm saving the last take for me.